We are live, live. The Money GPS Live. Welcome all. Welcome everybody. I'm just gonna set up everything on my end over here. Welcome all to the Money GPS Live. All right. Kittens and rainbows. Yes. Hope everyone's doing well tonight, wherever you are from around the world. We got people from literally all around the world joining us here, which is amazing. Today, right, kittens. Let's see. Looks good. Okay. There's so many things to set up. All right. Instagram is live. I got my control panel up. Got a fruit fly near my face. And then we go TikTok. All right, there we go. Good evening to everybody. This is the place where people come for the truth, really. And I love that. Because, there's a lot of people out there who simply want to be spoon-fed all these, ticker symbols and everything. And I can give that kind of stuff, but ultimately I think that people are here just to find out what's going on, like reading between the lines, right? That's the kind of information that people really do need. And there are some people that watch. There are some that they don't care, right? It's ultimately that they don't care. But I know that there are some people out there that just want the truth. So of course, that's what this is all about. Dan, can I just watch the news for the truth? Yes. Actually, I honestly love the news. And I'm not kidding about this. Like, if you want a good laugh, you can always watch the news because there's like 99% fluff and all bias. There's a left wing, like I'm still kind of trying to dissect it. Like, there's people who are left and there's people who are right. And there's the corresponding media for each. And it's very funny because they attack each other instead of actually looking into what the issues are. So it's like 99% useless garbage fighting against each other while they divide and conquer everybody. And then you get that little like 1%. It's useful for the like boots on the ground. Somebody's showing like a building that's, something bad happened or whatever. They're showing the building because they have those reporters. They can bring them out there. But in terms of like investigations and things, oh, no. And connecting the dots, never. All right, we got people on TikTok. What's going on? If you want to ask any questions, please do. Normalcy bias, yes. All right, awesome. I'm going to start answering the questions. I wanted to even pull up, I got my TradingView set up over here, and I want to just walk people through what we saw this week in the markets as well. And obviously, I want to talk about what's going on with the potential for mass evictions. Okay, it's potential. So we'll see what happens. At some point, they got to stop it. We'll see, because the landlords, they're just going to go disappear. It's going to be a thing of the past. Land going to be all BlackRock, maybe, and Blackstone and BlackRock, maybe they will. So if you're in the room, there's 100 people in here right now, and for some strange reason, I think your like button might be broken. Is it broken? No? All right, hit that like button, guys. Hit that thumbs up, because when you do, you support the channel, and of course, you help Janet Yellen get some new fancy clothes. Okay, so I gotta buy that for her, and she has expensive taste. So I just want to let you know that. Okay. Where are all the thumbs? I hope the kittens don't get evicted. They might. I heard about the governor of New York, ex-governor of New York's dog. Apparently he abandoned the dog. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate you coming in. Eighth come for the truth. Good evening, all. GPS on the live. Yes. Another portion of the truth. Really good to see you. Thank you very much for being here, everybody. I hate to see evictions. I think people gambled on helicopter money. Yeah. Like I'm interested to see what happens. I think they're too early right now. They are too early implementation of a like digital currency, along with that UBI, Universal Basic Income, where they can funnel people the money that way. I think we're too early for that whole implementation. Had this been a few years down the road, that actually might have been an option for them at this time. TikTok, what's going on? No dances here in TikTok, but you're welcome to ask any questions related to the financial world. Am I buying oil? I don't talk about what I buy necessarily, but oil is always an interesting one, especially because you know that there's that demand there, insatiable demand. There isn't going to be a slowdown yet. I'll tell you that, that's for sure. But it all depends on geopolitical tensions are always going to push that price of oil up. You get the daily fluctuations based on the supply and demand fundamentals, but there are some serious gyrations that occur with different commodities, oil in particular. All right, good evening. Thank you for coming in as always. The government's going to be forced to take care of all these people, so the Great Reset is in motion. We'll see. I worry about that. I really worry about that. Blackstone's, yep. See, I don't know about the forever portion. I mean, I don't know. One day the dip buyers will be the bag holders. Be careful out there. And I like the videos. Yes. Yes. Yeah, I am at some point for sure. But they'll just think, hey, this is going to be exactly like 2020. The market's going to come down by 4. I've seen the comments before. The market's going to come down by 40%. Then that's the point to buy in, and then it's going to rocket higher from there. The Fed will never allow the market to fall. It's so nonsensical because the Federal Reserve was already printing money 2019 into 2020 at the fastest rate ever in history. They were already doing that before the official quantitative easing began. So it's not the Federal Reserve printing money that actually makes the stock markets go up. It's an indirect result. But you got to know that when there's fear, printing the amount of money that they are is not going to resolve it. It just gives the institutional investors confidence that they're there. Hey, don't worry, we're taking care of you, right? I heard Russia had to back down on the mandates because too many businesses were losing money. Interesting. But I had understood they had a pretty relatively strict policy on that, but we'll see. I'm interested to see what happens. They're going for it globally, over a billion. Can't even say the word, but infusions into people's bodies. So they're getting there. They're getting those numbers up. I don't watch the news for about 6 years, and I'm 26. Awesome. Yeah, it's not going to do you any good. It really isn't. The timeline, that's the thing, right? I mean, if you go to try to evict somebody today, I'm sure every jurisdiction has its own rules and so on. And I think that, you go to evict somebody today, they got to go through the court process. And the more evictions there are in your area, the slower it's going to be because the courts are all backed up. So it's not something that happens overnight. But look, if you got people that are basically on the way to being kicked out, their lives change now. Suddenly their lives change. They go into a whole different mode. What's going to happen with are they employed? Are they not? If they're not employed, okay, what's going to happen economically? They're not going to go to Walmart to buy the flat screen TV. They're going to go and maybe just buy the essentials now and so on, right? So, there's a big degree of variance there. It depends on your area that you're looking at. And I'm sure there are stats that you can pull up for your particular area. More likes. Yeah, what do we got? We got 168 people in the house right now, and we have 78 likes. I think the like button must be broken. It's probably down here somewhere. Hit that like button. Hit it. All right, TikTok. This TikTok thing. By the way, anybody watching on TikTok is seeing me with some sort of filter. I don't know how to get rid of that. Anything on the economic calendar to watch next week? Well, I want to show you, if you can come over to YouTube, I'm going to show you my trading view. And I just want to take a look at what happened last week to give you an idea what will happen this week. If you're able to jump over to YouTube Live, check me out at the Money GPS. I'm going to be showing my trading view account. I can't show it on TikTok or Instagram. Allow that. They need their separate devices. So I got YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Everybody can see my screen on there. Okay. Smash the like button. Yellen Felon, I support you. Thank you so much for helping throughout the years. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Thumbs up, people. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, this is part of it. You got these big corporations today, multi-billion-dollar institutions that are swooping in and buying the real estate. And then people would say, no, you know what? That's not true. That's not true. If you look at the percentage, it's a small number. I mean, that's not how it works. That's literally not how it works. They take, like, there's these people who do these weird calculations. They're like, look how many houses BlackRock owns and look at the total number of homes in the United States. Oh, it's a small percentage. That's not how it works. I mean, it's crazy. That's crazy to look at it like that. Look at the end goal. The end goal is the multinational institutions control the media. The multinational institutions control all the distribution, the real estate, the stock market, all of that. And then when you go up the ladder and you realize, wait a second, all these really big companies are connected by parent companies, and those parent companies often have, the board of directors guy is the CEO from this company, and he's actually his brother is the head of this family, and you see like all these connections, and you start digging into it, and it gets real deep, and then you look at it, wow, he's actually from the Council on Foreign Relations. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Oh, right, and 3 years ago he was the head of Goldman Sachs, and you start digging into it and you realize maybe there's something else deeper going on here. Maybe it's not so disconnected as it seems. Rich people are trying to take advantage of poor people. Like some like basic thing like that. Like no. There's a whole different ball game going on over here. Okay. No filter on thing. I don't know. It looks like a little. Anyway. Enjoy. Dan, you're asking questions. I can't talk about that issue, or I'll get banned on YouTube. Are there any stats or numbers online business profits? Sorry, online business profits. Curious. I'd assume they kill because less people on stores. Online business profit. Yeah, like for example, Amazon has done absolutely fantastic. And then you look at other businesses like Pier 1, Radio Shack, Dress Barn. All these companies got bought up by two internet entrepreneurs, and they're taking those entire businesses that have brand recognition. They're taking them online, and they're going to try to go that route. But anywhere where there's physical presence, they lost a lot of money on the retail side, and they're balancing that out. So I think that's what's happening. That's an issue, I believe. But anybody like strictly online, like an Amazon, has done extremely well. Like the demand on Amazon was so high, they hired something ridiculous, like 400,000 people. 400,000 people, as everybody was firing people. They hired 400,000, and what else? They increased their capacity of the fulfillment centers by 50%, which is huge because Amazon already has so much fulfillment, and yet they could not keep up even close. The most restrictions ever I've seen on Amazon. So, yeah. Are you ever see the interest rate 1990 and see in common? The fact that they were very low, is that what we're talking about here? Yeah, I mean, certainly. I saw a new Honda Civic with a $30,000 premium on the price. Crazy. Yeah, the cars are just, it's out of whack right now. Supposedly a shortage. I don't know why there's so much of a shortage suddenly. Yeah. Oh, lost the chat as usual. Ugh. Try to get that going again. As soon as you scroll down a little, there we go. I'm back. Hello, hello. Couple people saying hello. Thank you for coming on in. I'm behind, as always. I'm behind in the chat. I'm way up here, so give me a minute here. Shorting Tesla. All right, I want to actually bring up my charts in a minute. If you guys stick around, once I'll never get to the bottom of the chat, but if I do get somewhere near the bottom of the chat, I will want to show you what's going on in my trading view, just to give you an idea of what happened in the past week. First time here, Rick. Thank you for coming on the live. Appreciate that. Shorting Tesla. Yeah, let's look at Tesla. Debt free with money in the bank. Good stuff. Nice to have an extra $600, but what's $600 going to do for someone when they don't have the advantage of living with roommates and combining incomes to pay rent? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think a lot of people, well, first of all, a lot of people are going to be doing that. I think there's going to be a lot of co-living that's going to happen, at least for a little while. I think there's going to be a lot of these different companies that come up, co-living spaces. They were very popular. I was covering them, particularly if you look at it on the West Coast, as well as New York had some as well. Big buildings just being converted into essentially big dormitories where you'd have a lot of people sharing facilities. That's just the way it is. And of course, roommates, has sort of the same thing, but on a smaller scale. Retail investors going to get killed. Yeah, I believe so. A lot of them will. But they'll hold on. They'll try and hold on and pick a right company and just wait it out. Blackstone being allowed to buy all single family homes like a normal family purchase. Yeah, it's true. They're like buying them like nothing. What I think is interesting about it is that if the interest rates were higher, it'd be a totally different world. Like they want to restrict. Okay, let's make a restriction that big companies like Blackstone and BlackRock cannot buy homes. So they do that. But why are the homes being bought the way they are? It's because interest is so low. All of these things, all of the problems we see today could be resolved by simply slowly increasing the interest rates over the next year. Okay, we're going to start increasing them. Like 0.1% per month. If they just say 0.1% per month, after one in a row, after do that, you know exactly what the interest rate is going to be at this time. No, they can't do that. They can't do that. All right. First time on the live stream. Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate you being here. Renter relief in the package. Yeah, I'm interested to see. Of course, I will bring you all that information. Is mathematics important in general? Yeah, it is. For the average person, probably not. Here's the thing, they know the dollar's worthless, but if they buy everything and launch a new currency back with the asset that they previously purchased, then the new currency will be worth something. Well, just plain and simple, I'll just say that we don't really know what's going to happen with the currency reset and the way everything's going to look. So at this time, it's all speculation. Mass evictions will change behavior. No more entertainment, but responsible behavior with money. Yeah, I think it'll be very chaotic. If they do it, it'll be very chaotic for a while. And then, things will have to balance out somehow. I don't know if they'll be able to do it personally. That's just me. People won't be kicked out tomorrow. Evictions in our country take 2 to 3 months. Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just, generally they got to go through the courts. Things are backed up, so on. Yes, Michael. So I covered it in my previous video. If you watched the last video I posted, I talk at length about it in the second half of the video, and essentially the Supreme Court ruled that the ban that was put in place wasn't supposed to be there, and so here we are again. There could be some sort of congressional thing that they put in and changes it, who knows. Supreme Court ruling, yes, yes, yes. My man, thank you for being here. Nomad Capitalist, yeah, the assistant got back to me requesting what I wanted to talk about and then never replied after that. So he didn't want in, I guess. Sorry. Enjoy your videos, thank you. I've never even heard of this person. A fixer-upper, $900,000 in Vancouver. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. 100-year-old. You can find. By the way, if I'm lagging? Somebody said I was lagging. If you see it in desirable neighborhoods in Toronto, $1 million doesn't exist. You can't find $1 million a detached home. You can't find $1 million if it's completely run down to the ground, unlivable. It is not possible to find it for $1 million. Like, think about how crazy that is. Grow potatoes in a bucket. It may be the only thing to eat down the road. Awesome. Okay, I'm going through all these comments. Got to get some purple potatoes. Those are the best. Oh, lost the chat again. What else is new? Okay. Hey, David, do you see the Russian-Saudi Arabian deal a very troubling sign if you're thinking about a monetary strength for the petrodollar? Yeah, it definitely weakens it. There's no doubt about it. But I mean, it's the first of so many instances of going away from the dollar, going away from the power of the U.S., primarily China being behind a lot of it, but certainly things can, different things are happening, right? I think we're going into the multipolar world. It's not like U.S. dominance upon everything. There's different factions being set up. There's different institutions being set up, like the AIIB, China spearheading most of these things. So yeah, I think it's going to be a big change in the future, in the medium term. Thank you for the support, Anthony. I joined 8 minutes late, so I watched the video at 2x to catch up to go live. Awesome. Got twice the GPS in half the time. Go long leverage volatility. Nice. That's the way it's done. That's the way it's done. Dan is saying on Instagram, if interest rates have been low for so long, mindset will need to be adjusted if they rise. Yeah, that's why they got to do it slowly, and that's why they have to do it methodically and instruct people. 3 months from now, we are going to start increasing interest rates by this much per month. If conditions change, we are going to change that. Okay, it's not going to be set in stone. Things will change, but here's our plan. If anything changes in the economy, we're going to go back in the other direction, and that's how they have to do it. They have to tell them in advance. Everybody's going to know that. The banks are going to be able to predict everything. That's the way it's got to be. Except now, it's all uncertain. It's completely uncertain. What they're saying is, we're going to wait for, what's that term? I always forget the term. This Jerome Powell says, substantially better or whatever the term is. So like substantially, it's like a general term. And then they asked him specifically, what do you mean by that exactly? And he was like, well, we don't exactly know, but we'll know when we get there. What? Like, what? You don't even know what you're looking for? So basically, it has nothing to do with any statistic or anything. It's whenever they decide to lift interest rates, that's when they're going to do it. That's it. Plain and simple. It's crazy. The Money GPS has a wealth of good financial and economic statistics, math, and charts. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Appreciate what you're doing. Thank you, Shane. Move to Mexico for an affordable quality of life. Yeah, many people have done that. Many people have done that. Good weather. In some cases, people believe that it is very free. The government's not after them. They don't have as much of big government in some cases. You got to go to the right places. Okay, just like any country, you have to go to the right places. How long can this inflation go on? So initially, based on what they were all talking about, the financial analysts, the Federal Reserve, everybody was saying we're going to move through the summertime. Inflation is going to be hot. By the time summertime's over, inflation should start to drop, because remember, we're going year over year on all these inflation stats. Okay, it's going to start to drop. Things are going to get better going into the fall. Okay, fantastic. So I said everybody, September is big. But as we moved into the summer time frame, and it was clear that inflation was going to drop, Federal Reserve, financial analysts, everybody, government officials were saying, okay, it's going to be longer. It's going to be a bit longer. Neil Kashkari, Janet Yellen, I mean, just about everybody, all throughout, top to bottom, were saying, yeah, I think it's going to be next year. I think it's going to be persistent. I think it's going to be this and that. So what do we have here? We have the realization that inflation, based on, and by inflation, I mean, number one, the monetary inflation, the amount of money that they've printed is just, it's not going to go down. And number two is the prices that we pay for certain things. Can assets deflate? Yes. Can wages deflate? Yes. How can this happen when things are still high in price? Well, absolutely. There's never necessarily everything comes down all at once. That's not how it works. It could be very disconnected, and I do believe that is something that will be happening. Oh yeah, Australia's got expensive houses. There's no doubt about it. Very expensive, especially in Sydney, other places. Although Sydney did experience a dip back in, I believe, 2019 of about 10 to 15%, depending on the exact area. It's crazy. When do you think the stock market crash will happen? Any time frame? How epic will the drop be? Well, I can tell you that the drop itself will be epic. That's for sure, because it's the fastest rise in history, will be met with the fastest drop in history. When will it happen? I have absolutely no idea. Certainly interest rates are going to play a big role. Certainly the amount of money that central banks are printing are going to play a big role. At this point, I don't think so. I don't think it's like, some have called for a drop down to the 200-day moving average, and I want to cover that in a minute. I want to show you what I'm looking at on my screen in a second, and we could talk more about that. So stay tuned for a minute. Well, this is referring to what I was saying earlier. Why is mathematics not important for most, or is it because they don't have the capital? Well, just mathematics. I was just saying, like, you get to a certain point in school where they're starting to teach you things that are just not practical at all. They're just used to separate people who can do that kind of calculation or not. And you're talking about all that nonsense. If they would teach people how to actually deal with their money in mathematics, okay, like go into the economics, but helping people to understand percentages, or hey, if I have an asset, that asset pays me every month, how many months of the passive income from that asset will add up to the liability that I want to buy? And if people only understood it that way, it would be a completely different mentality that people have, but they don't, right? It's just all garbage. Triple integral calculus. Yes. All that crazy stuff. All right. Okay, let's look at my screen over here. Let me show you this. Hang on to the questions for a minute here. I just want to show you this. All right. Hope you can see this. All right. Okay. So if you're on Instagram right now, I'm showing my screen just for 5 minutes on TradingView on YouTube. So what we're looking at here is the NASDAQ, okay? This is the NASDAQ chart. I talked about this consistently on the lives. Talked about this extensively, okay? Even in the videos, a little bit, but more on the lives. So this is what I was showing. I was telling you the fact that we were at the same level from early July, and I think even June at this point when it dipped down. And we were trading around this level for the NASDAQ for just it just seemed like forever, up and down and up and down. But I was saying specifically that this is, by the way, the red line is your 20-day moving average and the orange is the 50-day moving average. And what I was saying was it's always finding support around these two levels. I don't even show the 100 and the 200-day moving average because it's so far off. Okay, it's so far off. And so this was weak. It was much weaker than the Dow and the S&P through the period. However, once we got to this point here, I know that falling below the Bollinger Band, telling you that this is due, not like below the Bollinger Band and basically below the, just for temporarily below the 50-day moving average. I mean, probabilities show that that would have gone up. And where does it go? It goes up to the top of the Bollinger Band, okay? So this is just showing you what happens with the price action, regardless of the fundamentals. These are things that I can walk you through regularly, of course, but there's not much interest in it. I know that. I would do it, no problem for you guys. But anyway, and where has it been riding? It's riding at the very top of this Bollinger Band. Okay, this is a technical indicator. It's pretty simple. Don't get complicated. Don't worry about that. But just understand that these bands are telling us where the price action is likely to lie. And when it finds itself outside of that price action, particularly when met with a really strong support level, this being the 50-day moving average, it tends to move the other way. And that's what I'm showing right here. And guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row, 5 trading days in a row of bullishness. So anybody who bought in over here, they could have made a nice little swing trade, sold off even on the wrong day. Selling off on, let's say, the 26th would have made a little bit of a profit there, whether that's the options or stocks or what have you. That's the tech-heavy NASDAQ, okay? Could have done with the QQQ, same pattern. It didn't even get down to its 50-day moving average on that. But anyway, S&P 500, they kind of follow the same patterns as you can see, finding support towards that 50-day moving average, not even, and boosting its way back up. So what some have said is that we could be falling down and retesting the 200-day moving average. It's been a long time since it's done that, but it is certainly possible. There are others in here. I mean, just look at what's going on with the dollar, bouncing around, but it has moved. If I zoom out, just show you this. I mean, since this point right here back in May, it has looked quite strong. It has moved up on the dollar. And that, of course, compares it to other currencies. Now, the dollar is looking strong versus those other ones. We'll see what happens. I do think that if we enter a deflationary period, dollar's going to look real strong because you're going to want, people are going to want to put their money into the dollar, okay? That's where they're going to want it to go. Look at the Dow Jones over this period. It's, let me see what we got here. I'm just looking at the technicals. Yeah, it's been certainly more iffy. The NASDAQ is definitely easier to read. I mean, it's pretty obvious. The ridiculous bullishness that we see today is just unbelievable. This is the banking index, the ETF that corresponds to it. And it's up. Look at that, eh? So it dropped down. I saw this huge drop down. And during this period, right around this drop down, which was the middle of June, through that period, I mean, that's around the same time that they said, the Federal Reserve said, okay, we're getting rid of the ban on the buybacks for the financial companies. I mean, that is a huge signal. Now it's been up and down, but look at where it is today. It's much higher. Okay, so people who bought in there, if they held on through this period, they're up. They're up at this point based on that simple indicator that I covered on the channel. Bank buybacks are coming. What does that do to stocks? Okay, and so we're here. Took a little while to get there. I mean, middle of June to now we're basically coming in towards September timeframe. But anyway, that's something. So I'm trying to give people the information, but you just got to read between the lines. I can take it a step further, but I need to know the law. I need to know the law before I do that. I will not do that, even though everybody does. I mean, come on. You go to all these channels, they just tell you. They're like, buy this stock is going to go up to this price and so on. I don't really like that, but I mean, I would love to give a little bit more of a, hey, here's a little nudge. So you let me know what you think. I'm going to stop sharing that. All right. All right, I'm going to look at the questions again. Okay. TikTok, ask your questions. Okay. Oh, this guy's here. This is hilarious. Can we thumbs up somebody? Is it possible to thumbs up a comment? This guy's hilarious. He subscribes to have some fun. Yeah, that's really good. Awesome. Thank you for the support, Adrian. Can you please share your thoughts again on buying into the current housing market given recent financial news? What about for first-time homebuyers? I understand you cannot give actual advice. Okay. Prices are crazy. Prices are crazy. There's no doubt. You got to take your current. So some people would just give straight out no, yes. I think it's different than that. Okay. Is this your personal residence or is this an investment? That's one thing. Do you currently own a house? Do you currently rent? Do you currently live with a family? Okay. All right. So once you have that, now you know. Interest rates rock bottom today. Could you lock in that rate for an extended period of time? If you're in the United States, could you do that for 25 years, 30 years? Are you able to do that? Okay. If you're in Canada, that 5-year time frame is kind of the sweet spot for rates. Fine. How much do you have for the down payment? Okay. So you need to start asking all these questions. Is it a good time to buy a house? Generally, the answer is no. Okay. If you're looking at certain areas, it's still very affordable in smaller cities. If you're coming from a big city, going to the smaller cities. Okay, so you could take advantage of that. But in a crisis, I believe that housing crisis, if the prices start to drop, those towns that are really not desirable but have seen a lot of appreciation will probably be the first to drop. Okay. If people are moving back to work and this whole work from home thing starts to change and we go backward, I think the small towns could get hit again. So there's a lot of questions there. Regardless, I would say if it's your personal residence and if you already own a home, you're simply trading up, maybe you need that more space or what have you, it doesn't really matter so much because you're still in the market. You're going to sell that home. You're going to move into the new one. You're making a lot of money on the current one. You're buying in expensive on the next one. If it's an investment, this is the way I look at it. Like if I just wanted to just explain it in one sentence, if you can cash flow the property day one, it's good. That's it. If you cash flow day one, do it up. Because, maybe it's not the optimal situation, but hey, you do what you can at this time. Maybe you got cash in the bank, that's not good. So perhaps if you think that situation is going to be good for you, you're not worried about renters and this and that, okay, If it's personal, um, I just think personal residence is more about, okay, what school the kids are going to go to, the neighbors, what they're like, what's my current environment. Maybe I don't like the area I'm in, so I want to move out. Okay, so these are different things. Just in terms of the financial aspect, it's less important as far as I'm concerned. It may not be a good, like, owning your own home generally is not a good, like, investment. It's not an investment. It's a liability because it takes money from your pocket, but it has other advantages, right? That's the place where your family grows up. You have the neighbors. You love your neighbors. You know your friends. You got relationships with them. You have all your stuff is there. You know what I mean? Like, it's a different situation. But is it really your property if you don't pay the property taxes? No, you know how it works. So, I hope that's a good explanation for you. I kind of gave you a little bit of everything there. That's the way I look at it. Um, so I hope that's of some use to you. If you want any more clarification, please ask. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you to stop. I'm gonna ask you to stop, or you gotta go. Just stop, please. All right. Yeah. So I hope you saw that one. I'm a little behind on the comments. I hope you saw that. What I was just explaining there. Yes, yes, yes. All right. I own a small house here in Cambodia, pay zero, yeah, property tax. Some areas, they don't charge you property tax. I love that. I love that because they're saying, hey, we want this money to come in to help, to support, to create the jobs, to build these places, to maintain these places. And look, if you've got money coming in, that's something the government, like in some places, they don't want the government in control of everything. That's why there are these, like, if you're doing house flipping, you don't get tax advantages and so on. If you are a long-term, like you're renting that property to people, you don't generally pay taxes. And why? Because you're doing a service the government can't. The government can't house everybody. That's terrible. I mean, it doesn't work out. So despite what people are, you see the protests and everything about just basically making the government be the landlord. And trust me, you don't want a government as a landlord. That's the worst kind of. Government housing is not very nice for anybody who's lived there or seen those places. It's not very nice, so I don't suggest it. Awesome, Mr. K-Man. Thank you for coming on today. I saw that coconut you had. I saw that coconut. Awesome. Check out Mr. K-Man Vlogs channel, everybody. From sunny Grand Cayman. About to maybe get hit with a tropical storm, or is that already passed? All right. Nick, how are you? Just had a customer who's closing on this house. He is closing on the end of August. The home looks like it's worth $180,000. It is priced at $320,000. He's purchasing for $325,000. He's flipping it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. A lot of people are just, hey, I need to get in now. This is gonna make money. The houses are gonna keep going up and up and up. And you could make money, right? But you gotta time it. You gotta really time it right. The best option for people is to be a long term, to think of it long term. If you're flipping, you're not getting the tax advantages. How can we have deflation when they're printing to the moon? Absolutely. So the expansion of the money supply is inflation. Okay, that's the real definition of inflation. It's the expansion of the money supply. But how can they print money and create deflation? There are different ways to look at this. And yeah, I try to invite Jeffrey Snyder, who's sort of claims to be the expert on this topic, and he said that he didn't want to come on. And so what we can say is that when they print money, it creates a slowing of the monetary velocity. So the velocity slows down as money printing goes up. Why? Because it's not being pushed into the economy. You're pumping all this money into the financial system, and it's just kind of sloshing around, buying treasuries, and then just goes back and forth. That's not beneficial to the economy. We know that. So the more money that's out there, it's kind of diluting the total pool of cash. So, but in general, what I would say is that likely their actions will result in inflation. I mean, it's just the way it is. You haven't seen a case in history where printing money didn't, like printing to these excessive levels, has ever ended with the currency not being destroyed. Like, it always destroys the currency every single time. Currency is ruined. Oh, it passed. All right, good stuff. Good stuff. Hope you guys are well over there. New Orleans. Oh, that's the one that. Okay. Yeah, I did see that. I did see that. All right. I watch your videos one day behind. That's why I'm a little behind. All right. What's your opinion on buying at least 2 week emergency canned food? Yeah, why not, right? I mean, like, the stuff that you eat regularly. Okay, let's say you love beans, you love lentils, you love pasta, you love whatever, rice. Why not just buy triple the amount that you normally have? Like, don't buy 4 packs of pasta. Buy 20 packs of pasta. It's still good. Just keep it in a cool place, sealed containers, whatever it might be. And that's it. And you just use that, and you keep 20 packs worth, not 3 packs worth or 2 packs worth or one, right? Or, I need to eat pasta tonight. I have to go to the store and buy that. No, have that ready to go. Have it ready to go. Why? Because a hurricane might come. Why? Because maybe you buy in bulk and you want to save money. Why? Because maybe there's a shortage, a supply chain problem, prices suddenly increasing, inflation. Buy today, save that cash. It's just a smart thing to do for so many different reasons. Awesome. Good stuff. Buy and gold for the first time. Good. Good, good, good. Physical gold, like, I remember, I told the story before. I went to the bank. This is like years and years ago. I went to the bank, and I said, okay, I want to buy physical and physical gold, like stocks. I said, no, I want like the bar, like an actual bar or a coin. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll refer you to the financial planner. So the financial planner comes around. Oh, you buy gold, do you? Yeah, well, we can we can get the stocks, we can get mining companies. No, no, no. I said, I want to buy actual physical metals. I don't. I go, okay, thank you. I'll take my money. So I just took the money out of the account. This is the bank I was with at the time, and just, needless to say, I removed all of my money and closed the account. I literally took my money out of the account. They didn't. The funny part is they didn't even try to stop me, or didn't even try to say, "Hey, no, 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 we'll get that for you. We'll get that for you." They didn't even, just let all the money leave the account, and I went out and bought what I had to buy. So, all right, this guy's done. See the interview with uneducated economists. They talk about deflation. Yeah, the one he did with me. That was good. It was a good interview. It's funny because we were just when I interviewed an educated economist, the price of lumber was at 1700, and then it had fallen down. And when we did that interview, it was let's say like 1600 or so. And he said, you know what, I think 1700 was the highest it's going to be, and it looked like at least for that time frame, it certainly was correct. What makes your house lose value? Well, of course, what gives it its value? It has a value based on what somebody's willing to pay for it. You all know. There's a situation in which the neighbors are also, let's just make up a number, the neighbors are all selling for $1 million. And then this one guy put his house on the market, he listed for $1 million, and he only gets 900. Why? Well, at that time, there was only a buyer willing to pay 900. And that happens, right? So it's just the way it is. Housing bubble burst. We're about to see it happen again, but much worse. Yeah, it could happen. I think commercial real estate is the weakest, really the weakest link right now. Yeah, undeveloped land. Depends on your area. You got to look at that specifically, but undeveloped land could be very good. Okay, it could be, but understand that undeveloped land is harder to sell. So you got to know what you're getting into. You can buy a lot, an empty lot in an area that you know there's sewer, there's power, it's kind of going there. There's things there, and there's neighbors somewhere close. You know what I mean? Okay, that's going to be a lot easier to sell than just this raw land in the middle of nowhere, because there's only a handful of buyers for that in any area. Okay, just make sure you're aware of that. Germany's buying a lot of gold, yes, and some other countries too. Looking in NC for land, yeah, do it. Non-perishable foods, buy seeds, love that. Where's there no income tax and the lowest property tax? How is it where you live? Yeah, well, ask Mr. K-Man Vlogs. You can ask Mr. K-Man Vlogs if you're still here. 0 property tax, 0 income tax, 0 inheritance tax, 0 wealth tax, 0, 0, 0. But everything's very expensive. So it's not just about the amount of taxes. There's more to it than that. I did an interview with Mr. K-Man Vlogs. If you look at it a couple weeks ago, I had it on the channel. We talk about that. We talk about the different taxes. So if you're interested, check that out. All right. What are we? 52 minutes already. Wow. We got 300 people in the house. Hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to hit that button. Why? Because it tells the algorithm that this is a good show. So you want to tell those people out there. Hey, Chris, thank you for watching. Refueling time. All right. If anybody is interested in watching these videos, by the way, after I make them unlisted. So what you got to do is you got to go to Facebook or Twitter, and they remain there permanently. So you could check it out from there. But because of the like the algorithms or whatever, I gotta make it unlisted after. So just so you're aware. Like the smash, notify the click. Yes. If you want to say it like that, all right. I'll take what I can get. You got my vote. Good stuff. See, this is a topic. Let's talk about this right now. Crypto is a good hedge against inflation. And I've heard this being talked about, okay? Crypto for inflation. Because why? You got Bitcoin, for instance. It's been said that this is a deflationary asset. There's only 21 million, and we know that some of them are already gone and so on. So, there's less than the 21 million. Okay. All right. There's only so many, therefore deflationary. But how does it perform during heavy inflation? How does it perform during deflation? How does it perform during a financial crisis? How does it perform when the banking system is going under? How does it perform during a housing crisis? Like, we have no detail. Why? This is too new. The real serious crisis, 2008 into 2009, like that's when it was created, and it was in its infancy back then. Really, it started gaining attention, let's say 2013, and then it sort of disappeared for a few years. Then it came back in the news 2017, and so on. So I think it's very questionable. We don't know. Could it do very well in an inflation? Yeah, absolutely. But do we have any details to suggest that it will? No. What I think really is it's tied to the inflation in interest rates. So if interest rates are low, risk assets do well. Plain and simple. And you've got cryptos that are at these extreme highs right now compared to where they were a few years ago. And that has to do a lot with what's happening with interest rates. So if interest rates are to rise, I would say watch out what's going on with crypto. Not that it's bad, not that like the technology, I'm talking about the price. The technology could be fantastic. I would love to see the current monetary system, financial system be displaced with something else. Let the you know, let the you know, let the free market decide. I mean, how else can I say it? I disagree. I don't know what to disagree with exactly because we don't have any history. Like we don't have any history on that. I know that there's a lot of people that will talk about how fantastic it's going to do this. The price is going to be of Bitcoin. Price of Bitcoin 100,000. Price of Bitcoin 200,000. Price of Bitcoin 500,000. Price of Bitcoin 1 million. Okay, we hear that. Do we know that? Of course not. Of course we don't know that. But it sure gets a lot of clicks. Sure gets a lot of hits. I'll tell you that. I'm just letting you know what's possible. It would be fantastic if we enter a new monetary system and suddenly there's competing currencies and so on. That would be a good thing. Crypto, more adoption will help it decouple a bit from fiat. So the adoption, I think it's a little bit misguided because there are so few people today that actually use cryptocurrency in their daily lives. Like you look at but the amount of transactions that are happening and so on. No. How many people are using it? Very few. I'm probably one of the very, very few people that actually used cryptocurrency to buy things on a not regular basis, but I've done it many times. How many people have done that? Well, not many. Why though? Because they say the price of the cryptocurrency is going to go higher. Why would I buy something with it? Okay, it doesn't make sense. It's like the pizza that was whatever, $10 billion or whatever. 10 million or 10 billion. Obviously, it makes sense, right? So, but we just don't have the history. We just don't know what's going to happen in the near future. David's stocks will continue to soar on the promise of easy money. Markets are immune to bad economic news. Look at the weekly jobless reports. Yeah, eventually that won't be the case though. Explain in general, are large cap stocks really the only overvalued stocks, while mid and small cap are mildly lead to lower price? No, I don't think so. I think basically in relation to each other, that's a different story. But that's why I think people should be more interested in swing trading than anything right now. When the market's near the top, you're in a trade for 3 days. You don't really care if it's the absolute top or this is a bounce or something. You're in and out and you made your profit. And then you're going to put that somewhere where you believe is safe. That could be some sort of stock, or maybe that's real estate, or maybe it's US debt or something. Who knows? Whatever you think it is. All right. Going through this, I'm going to stay on for a little bit longer today. Try to get as many questions answered. Are you being a contrarian? History is not relevant when there is a mass desire to transition into cash buffers, such as crypto. No. I don't know what you mean exactly, but like, so think about it like this. You got the majority of the people that are really enthusiastic about crypto are people with a small amount of money in crypto, okay? And small relation to the $2 trillion market cap, and then much, much smaller in relation to the financial system as a whole, okay? But you got to understand, if somebody has a portfolio, institutional investor, a company, they've been buying into Bitcoin, let's say, other than the big names that you know about, they've been buying in millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars worth. Okay, their portfolio moves the markets much, much further than you as an individual. They've got a big portfolio of $200 billion worth of assets. And then they have this Bitcoin, portfolio, if you will. And that's worth, I don't know, let's just say $1 billion, whatever it might be. Which one do you think they're going to sell first? Are they going to sell their Bitcoin? That doesn't look very good to the investors. Hey, they wanted to speculate on that. Okay, fine. But are they going to go sell their Apple stock, or are they going to sell their Bitcoin? I think that the first thing they're going to sell is their Bitcoin, because they're institutional investors. They're going to look at it with just, okay, what do I got to do? Make that change. It's not the believers. They're not most of the money in cryptocurrency is not the big believers. The big believers have the small money, but they care about it. They really care about it. That's the difference. But the big money is the one who moves the markets. So I hope you understand that. Okay. What do you think the government will do to help the coming homeless and so that they can get housing? Nobody will rent to them with an eviction on their record. Yeah, that's one thing. That's what I worry about. I mean, I honestly think they'll extend it. They'll block it on the state level. Somehow it's going to find its way around. I mean, to me, it's just too many people at once. But I mean, how long could it go on for? I just don't know. I mean, I was thinking, if they give them some sort of stimulus, which they could do. There was rental assistance. I think like the vast majority of the rental assistance that was given by Congress hasn't even been used. So maybe they're just going to give people checks. If you're a renter, your rent's getting paid. Which is crazy to think about. Like, what about the people that are paying their rent? Why pay the rent if the other guy's not paying? Like, how is that going to work? How are they going to distribute that? I just don't know. Awesome, Tom. Thank you for the support. Appreciate that. Asking on TikTok, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about that topic, unfortunately, on these platforms. You get banned for that, so I can't talk about it. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. Glad to hear, Nick. We must prepare. I wish the people of this country will wake up and demand change. Stop the madness. Yes, I wish that too. Okay, I'm looking through your questions here. Thank you all for coming in today. By the way, 272 people in the house. Hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's easy to support this channel simply by clicking the like button. You help me out. So I do appreciate that. I'm in the normal video, the live videos. Always hit that like button. It's something that, as a creator, I started realizing quickly how oh, this really helps. So I'm going to do it for other creators too, because yeah, while it's just, oh, it's just one like, it's not really just one like. Everybody should together. If you want to support a channel, click that like button. It's an easy thing to do. Thank you. Am I a doomer? I am extremely bearish on humanity. I think that the culture and society is rotten. I think it's really bad, and you have a small group of really, really good people. And they get taken advantage of. Good people usually get taken advantage of. Good people are far and few between, but they're out there. And so that's the way I look at it. Am I a doomer? In what sense? I'm not sure, but yeah. Thank you for hitting a like. A realist? Yeah, I think so. I think I would say that about myself. Realist. I'm just not afraid to tell it like it is. Like, the channel would have done so much if I would have just done like, here's the tickers of the day. Like, I've seen this channel. I got really, I don't even know what he's at now. Really popular. The guy's got the clipboard and he just reads the tickers, and people love it. People love it. Reading tickers and telling you like basic news that just grabbed from whatever and no context and why it's important, whatever. Just all about, here's the tickers. I mean, wow. I could have done that. This channel would have been, think about it. I've done over 3,000 videos. I've been doing this for 10 years. So the channel would have done really well. But I have to, if I know something, if I know the truth about it, I gotta tell you. I have to tell you. Is there another website you have where you are uncensored? No. All of the major platforms I post onto, and they're all basically all censored. So let's see. TikTok asking, let's go back and see. Financial cover up. Not exactly. I think there's a lot of things going on. I'll say that. I think there's more than one thing happening. I hope that, there's a lot to that question, but certainly I think, a lot of things. All right. Amazon course. Yeah. Anybody who went to the AmazonGPS.com, get my free course available to everybody to learn about how to sell on Amazon. Even if you don't like Amazon, you could apply that same stuff to any other e-commerce or any business in general. All right. %100% agree on humanity. Unfortunately, we got to agree on that, right? It's crazy. Man, thank you. 268,000. It's going down, actually. The subscribers have gone down this month. But yeah, it's awesome. Like, I'm grateful that there are people watching. That's the whole point, right? There are people watching. That's what I love. Whether it's 268, whether it's less, it's, I'm happy. Is Cardano a good alternative to BTC? Some people say that it's going to be the next big thing. That's all based on speculation. I think just in general, if you're sticking to the top 10, that's probably where you want your money. Anything else is going to be like a super risk, but could do very well. As you've seen, some of them just go up like tenfold in like a matter of like a week. So, all right, 108. Is Bitcoin in a bubble? Too hard to tell. I think if interest rates rise, I think we're going to find out. I think we're going to find out big time. Because, you do get those crashes that happen. They come down 30%, they come down 50%, 70%, whatever it might be, but it comes back up. But if interest rates are higher, will it come back up? Or at least, will it take a long time to come back up? That's the question. We don't know. We don't know. Rotten society. Yes, yes, yes. Cashing out of the 401k, putting it in metals and supplies. Yeah, I don't know why people have the 401k specifically. I mean, I'm just not sure. Okay, Sia, I'm going to the GPS page. Sia, for the next one. Thank you for coming on in. I live in the US. Would you recommend first product launch on Amazon be domestic or international? US market, 100%. Well, actually, so I would say in general, US market. Okay. But when you're searching that product, when you're looking at that product, just go to all of the other different Amazons. Amazon Canada, Amazon Mexico, Amazon, look at a few countries in Europe, UK, Germany, and even some of the other ones. That's usually the place I would start. Okay, look at those. How is it there? Is it good sales but less competitive? Now you might have found a great place. So you can start selling US. And then now you've got everything down packed. You're good after a month. Things are rolling. Okay, now I'm going to expand and send some inventory to UK, which I wouldn't do because UK is a mess right now for sending products in. But just say, okay, I'm going to send it to Germany. I'm going to send it to wherever it might be. So you expand like that. And maybe you find that you start selling better in the European market or the Canadian market than you did in the US, not because of more sales or what have you. Maybe it's more profit there because you can command a higher price in that market, or maybe you got cheaper shipping to that market. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different reasons. But you could start, if you start domestically, it's probably the easier option. All right. Your value GPS, not a low class promoter getting money from Weibo. Oh yeah, your value. Yeah, I know somebody doing that. Not possible. Not sure what that's referencing. Will the gold standard come back? I don't think so. I think that we will have a time in which, there's probably going to be some sort of currency reset, and in that time frame, we'll see what you got the IMF, World Bank, perhaps a new institution being set up. All the world comes together. The central bank digital currencies linked become one super currency. It's going to be so fantastic, and then they'll have the control over us entirely in the monetary system, but by the global governance, as they love to call it. Not global government. Don't say that. Global governance. And so that's going to be a way for them to have much more say at what happens, where the money goes to and from. And they'll say, oh, it's backed by gold because there's 0.0001% of the total having gold there. Like the IMF has some gold, supposedly. Just like Fort Knox has gold. Oh, this guy is still in here. Still got a spammer in the house, I see. Oh, good. Waste everybody's time. All right. Do that again. Money GPS dude, excellent argument regarding the BTC crypto, very informative. Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen. I think it's uncertain. I would love to see. Just competing currencies, competing parts of the financial system. Like, let's do away with that old system. I would love that. I would love it. But I mean, the price is a whole different story. We're being asked here, what are the downside of a CBDC or a global currency? You have less control, less sovereignty. You want to have maximum control. Maximum control. That's what you want. CBDC, cross-border digital currency, is the future. Probably. Is it a good future? I'm not so sure about that. Am I the only one having lag in the video? Sound cutting sometimes. Sorry about that if that's happening. I'm going to take off anyway in a couple minutes. All right. Trying to look for your questions here. Wow, 72 minutes. Beast mode. Nice. Yes, yes, yes. What's the name of the book about selling on Amazon? No, I have a course. I have a free course, like hours and hours of video content for free. Okay, you follow, you look around, look for a free course. They're just funnels into a bigger course. Okay, they're like 5 free videos put into a playlist. Yeah, that's my free course. And then you go off into the page. They squeeze you into a live webinar, which is never live, and the timer, like you only have 15 minutes to choose, and then you watch the timer goes down to 0, and you could still go in, or it just resets itself. It's ridiculous, all the scams. But anyway, it's available for free at the AmazonGPS.com. I teach people how to sell on Amazon for free. If you don't want Amazon, you don't like it for whatever reason, you could apply those techniques to any sort of e-commerce or just business in general, because they just teach you about business for free. Should I pay the house? I think you're asking if you should pay down the debt on your house. In general, I think it's a good thing. I think it's good to pay down your debt, even though it is very cheap right now. Pay down your debt, be reasonable with it. If you're one of those people that had overextended themselves for a while, maybe you put a little bit down on that instead of something else, because you really don't know what's going to happen in the future. If you've got that locked in for a long time, you can reasonably assume that you're okay. But what happens when if the bank that owns your mortgage goes bankrupt? Could they go back and say, hey, you got to pay up? You got to pay up. Could that happen? That is absolutely possible. Somebody takes over and they start calling all their debts. Come on, pay up. Let's go. Let's go. And you say, no, that's not possible. It happens. It happens. Do you think interest rate, Danny is asking, do you think interest rates will ever go up? The answer to that is yes, I do believe so. Keep the data-driven content coming. The truth, absolutely, I will. Paid off the house with inheritance. Awesome. Good stuff. Whatever it takes. When is it a good time to incorporate, to put down on taxes? Is it worth it if it's under a certain net worth or income amount? So if you have enough expenses, so if you're just doing it just to do that, maybe it's not worth it. But if you have expenses in your business, or you have a side business, or you want to set up a side business, it could actually be fantastic. At the same time, like, people do everything under their personal side. And you got to remember also, depending on the type of corporation you set up, you got to talk to your accountant. You might be double taxed. So watch out. It could actually make you pay more tax, because the corporation has to pay tax, and then you pass the income or the profits onto a person in the form of a salary or the form of a dividend, and then now you got to pay taxes on that, because it reports, you have to report that income. So watch out. But in general, if your business needs to own the cell phone, you don't need to own the cell phone. Or the business needs to own the vehicle, it's not your vehicle, well, then you personally don't need money. Your business can keep that money. And maybe your business has a lot of expenses. And when your business has a lot of expenses, maybe they don't need to pay taxes. You see? You have to really shift your thinking, and you got to look at it all and write it down on paper. Like, write it down, the way that you have everything, and maybe the way that you want to do some changes. E-commerce will boom with automation serving as a primary vehicle. No pun. Yeah, e-commerce is definitely getting bigger. There's no doubt about it. Later, mass eviction is about to happen. Yeah, so in the video I just posted, Dustin, if you haven't seen it already, I covered it in the second half of the video. I get into all the details. The Supreme Court came in and said what the CDC did to put that in place to block everything. That wasn't allowed. You can't do that. So now there's kind of a scramble to see what's going to happen. There is a link in the description of probably this video. I can't see that on my screen here, but it probably is. It says something like learn how to sell on Amazon for free. And there's a link there. It's the amazongps.com, or you can go to, I think it's still up, gps.university. gps.university. All right. CBDCs, yep. Okay, I'm going to take off in a minute here if anyone has any last questions. If somebody's currently renting and can just barely afford to get into the low mid-quality housing market right now, do you think that is unwise due to the same prices? Yeah, probably. What I would do, unless, for instance, you want to go crazy with it and you could buy that home, but you live in like one room in that home, and you can kind of make that work. Or maybe you live in the basement, or you live in like whatever, maybe it has a little house on the side, a little what do you call it, like a nanny suite or something, that you live in, that not very desirable, but you got somebody paying down that mortgage for you, and then after a few years you got a little bit extra cash. Okay, now I'm gonna ask them to leave, and then I'm gonna renovate the place, and I'm gonna move in, and that sort of thing. So that could be a good stepping stone, right? Awesome. Thank you for the support. Thank you. Also, big plus is businesses can carry back and forward losses to offset income in other years. Personal income tax losses are limited mostly to calendar years. Yes, 100%. Completely agree with that. Essentially, if you took a loss the last 2 years, and then you had a big gain in 2021, you can basically offset that and you don't have to pay taxes. Think about how great that is, because in business, it works different than an individual who kind of, they're making the same every year. Businesses, you have these up and down swings based on the economy, and you could really take advantage of that, certainly. Appreciate that. All right. Okay. I'm out of here. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you guys coming on in today. I'm going to end the video right there. I will try to be here tomorrow. Okay, so tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. Pacific time, we'll have another live session. So hope you'll join me for that. If you haven't seen the video already, I talked about the evictions big time. I talked about what else was it? Inflation, talked about the craziness with stocks, looking at the reverse repos, all that good stuff. Okay, so if you haven't seen that video already, definitely check it out. But certainly check out tomorrow's video as well. Be some really good stuff I'm gonna prepare. And then as we go into September, things are gonna look a little different on the Money GPS channel. I'm gonna try to really dive deep into a particular issue instead of hitting like 42 different charts in a video. So expect that. And that's all. Take care.